Alright, first long form video of the State Fair 2023 will be the 9/11 Memorial. Rest in peace, all of you dear souls who perished at the hands of terrorists, except of course those who fought back over the fields of Pennsylvania. Thank you for your bravery. It's better to die for something than live for nothing, as I heard in My Infant 3, that TV show I reviewed. It's a tree now. So this looks like this exhibit has been evolving a little bit over the years. I always come back here for this. Thank you, dear souls. Thank you for fighting back. Here's a beam from the World Trade Center that remains. So, there you have it. Flags of the different branches of first responders. Not sure what that is. It is quite bright out here. This shows the names of everyone, every single person who died as a result of the terrorist attacks actually. Irrespective of not playing or spinning the grand ball. Right, of course. Here's the Reflection Terrace. Ah, it's a lovely tree. Near is some of the massive I-beam, weighing 2,000 pounds per foot, was extracted from ground zero and donated to be used exclusively for a monument. It was a floor beam from the 34th floor of the North Tower. There are still remnants of the fire retardant caked on the beam. The twisted pieces of metal on the top of the are from the World Trade Center Building 7 parking structure. The I-beam, along with 4 other large pieces of steel, was shipped via rail to California. Here are some of the little mementos that people would have, I suppose, laid the wreckage. For those of you who didn't grow up in those times, where you saw it live on the telly, or sadly with your own eyes in person, this was a terribly sad day. My performer, she still regards this as the worst day of her life, and she's had some ups and downs herself. Pennsylvania, at 10:06 a.m., the United Airlines Flight 93 slammed to the ground in a field near Sykesville, Pennsylvania. This time, in a spirit of defiance, having been informed of the attack on the Trade Center in conversation between a passenger and telephone operator, several brave Americans attempted to reclaim the hijacked plane and prevent further destruction. Amid the desperation, 40 courageous souls gallantly gave their lives to save many others. And here the Captain Jason Dole, First Officer Leroy Homer Jr., Purser Deborah Allen Jacobs Welsh, Flight Attendants Lauren Bay, Sandra Bradshaw, C.C. Lyles, and Wanda Gray. That's a roll. Thank you, dear. Thank you for your bravery. Here is the backside of that World Trade Center beam. I know this might seem boring to some of you, but to those who saw this live, it was a day that you'll never forget. It changed so much in history. It started the longest running war in American history, the Afghan war, that ultimately ended in failure. Because while we did kill bin Laden in Pakistan, the Taliban ultimately took back control of the country and led it back into darkness. So I'm going to try to cover all this in as best fashion as I can. Alright, this is in honor of the this little memorial here of the Pentagon. At 9:38 a.m., 20 minutes before the collapse of the first World Trade Center tower, American Airlines Flight 77, with 59 people on board, plunged into the west side of the symbol of America's military might. The casualties in Washington, D.C. added another 125 people who died at the Pentagon to the 59 aboard the airplane, for a total of 184 victims to this day there. And captain was Charles Burlingame, first officer David Charles Boyce, flight attendants Michelle Heidenberger, Jennifer Lewis, Kenneth Lewis, and Renee May. Thank you. And here are some of the names from those who died at the Pentagon. I'm not going to read all these out to you, but you get the picture. My phone is already heating up, so I'm not sure if we're going to get pictures of this. But you get the picture, or if you're watching this, you know what I mean. Alright, after that, there's this magnificent structure, and they're well of honor to the people who helped pay for all this. Sorry, I'm not going to read out all those to you. Yes, every hour these chimes here these bells here will chime. It's some kind of patriotic song. And here's some information. On September 11th, 2001, America's history was permanently altered on 8:46 a.m. when American Airlines Flight 11 slammed high into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. 17 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 slammed to the tower's twin and blew up in another hellacious ball of fire. Americans were quickly to realize this was no accident, but instead a heinous act of terrorism. The unthinkable had happened. America had been attacked on her own soil. For the next 85 minutes, the world held its breath and walked in horror and disbelief. At 9:45 a.m., the mighty South Tower, surrendered to the ground, followed at 10:28 by a sympathetic weeping partner. When it was over, the world retched at the devastation, the loss of so many innocent souls, and the pain and suffering of loved ones. The only comfort to be found amid the ashes and rubble were stories of unselfish acts of bravery and courage from those who rushed to help. According to the New York Times, as of April 22nd, 2002, 2,825 people from more than 115 countries were listed as having died in attacks at the World Trade Center. Among the dead were 343 firefighters and paramedics, 23 New York Police Department officers, 37 New York, New Jersey Port Authority officers, 38 New York, New Jersey Port Authority non-uniformed employees. 175 died of the two hijacked airplanes. Rest in peace, dear souls. And one nation. The California Exposition and State Fair is proud to be the final resting place for more than 125,000 pounds of steel wreckage from the World Trade Center in New York City, acquired by California Exposition and State Fair Board past member Larry Davis and his wife Joanne. Calexpo took possession of the material on July 9th, 2002, as a traveling America wheeled into a steel gondola-style railroad car. The materials were escorted in a formal motorcade led by the Sacramento County Sheriff, State Fair Police, California Highway Patrol, and regional fire departments to the Sacramento site. Materials were then assembled and located on a temporary site for exhibit and unveiled at the 2002 State Fair. Since that time, Mr. Larry Davis, who passed away in 2006, and scores of others, including the entire board of directors, have dedicated themselves to erecting a permanent memorial plaza. This September 11th Memorial Plaza will stand for generations to come as a reminder that freedom does have a price, and that we must never forget America's painful sacrifice on September 11th, 2001. This plaza is comprised of several interesting elements that create an atmosphere of peace and remembrance. In addition, the large T-beams taken from Ground Zero in New York City are several exhibits paying tribute to many heroic acts. We salute the departments of NYPD, FDNY, NYNG, Port Authority, and the Office of Emergency Management, and the many various departments of the City of New York, including then Mayor Rudolph Giuliani, as well as the regular, unselfish, and wonderful people who volunteered their help because it was needed. Two glass towers create a powerful point of reflection, while the other monuments remind us of the catastrophic events that took place in Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania. A magnificent Carillon bell tower also graces the memorial with beautiful music. Central to the plaza, a granite sphere weighing 5,180 pounds, nestled in a granite cradle and turning on a thin layer of water with the names of all the souls lost in the events of 9/11. Rest in peace, dear souls. And also to Mr. Larry Davis and his wife, thank you so much. With liberty and justice for all. In the nation's capital, news of the attacks of the World Trade Center riveted down the corridors of the Pentagon. For more than 20,000 civilian and military personnel at one of the world's most secure military installations, it was inconceivable that they were to become the next target of terrorism. At 9:38 a.m., 20 minutes before the collapse of the first World Trade Center tower, American Airlines Flight 77, with 59 people on board, plunged into the west side of the symbol of America's military might. For the innocent and unsuspecting passengers and crew on board that flight, almost 2 hours of terror ended, but casualties in Washington, D.C. added another 125 people who died at the Pentagon to the 59 aboard the airplane, for a total of 184 victims to this day of terror. Waiting for that to go by. The life-altering news of the day was not over. Was it possible that these maniacs could have commandeered another commercial airliner and turned it into a weapon of mass destruction? At 10:06 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 slammed into the ground in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, some 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. This time, in a spirit of defiance, having been informed of the attack on the Trade Center in conversation between a passenger and a telephone operator, several brave Americans attempted to reclaim the hijacked plane and prevent future destruction and create a loss of life. Amid the desperation, 40 courageous souls gallantly gave their lives to save many others. Back there, you see this one? While we frantically search for souls, reasoning, and compassion for our fellow fallen Americans, the terms "God bless America," "Sweet Land of Liberty," and "I have a dream" become more important every day. Now we have another two words that we part of the story of America. These valiant people of Flight 93, which came down near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, said, "Let's roll." There's some seating here if you want to reflect upon what happened on that terrible day. And there's also more here. Sorry, dear souls.
Yeah, see, you fixed it, man. Yeah, just drained it.
You see here our photographs from that terrible day. In case I don't take any pictures later, I've done this before for the last state fair. Here are some pictures from the construction of this exhibit. The carnage of the strikes themselves. Our brave first responders. Some of the courage of the ordinary people. And some of the headlines from various newspapers. I actually have a book that actually contains pictures of these covers. And there's also this donation box, which I've done before. So I hope you all found that informative. Yes, here's also a memory of Larry Davis. Here's a memorial to the man responsible for starting all this. And this plaque honoring Mr. Larry Davis and his wife. Alright, everyone. Glory be to the United States and to all those who perished on that horrible day for many nations. I hope you will be remembered forever. May your souls rest in peace. And may no nation in the world ever suffer terrorist attacks again. May we all rest in peace and freedom.